Gary Coleman entertained millions with his classic comedy skits and bits and his young boyish looks. I just wanted to thank you all for coming. Before I get started, I'd like to list off my sources. I got sources from thinkexist.com, brainyquote.com, GaryGreatColeman.com, and QuoteLucy.com. And, of course, I had an interview with my friend Brandon Wynn. Now, I gather you all here today to tribute the late, great Gary Coleman. Now, Gary Coleman is known for many different things. And Gary Coleman's life, it started out great. He was adopted by two Southerners, his mother being a nurse and his father being a fire truck driver. They adopted the young African American child and immediately saw that he was talented. They decided to let him audition for a school play. Gary was a regular, just wooing the crowd with his ability to act and sing and dance. And it wasn't too long after that when he started doing Different Strokes. Now, Different Strokes was a popular television series in the late 80s to early 70s when it happened. And Gary Coleman played a character, Arnold Jackson, who also was adopted by a wealthy white family, which is a coincidence because, he was also adopted in his actual life. Now, in Different Strokes, Gary Coleman came out with this classic catchphrase, the "What you talking about Willis" phrase. This phrase really just amazed people around the world, and it still lives on today. If someone says, "Hey, what you talking about?" You automatically know what they're talking about, which doesn't make any sense, but it's beyond the point. Gary Coleman ran for governor in 2003 in the state of California. Now, when he decided to run for governor, Gary Coleman really didn't have any intentions of winning, but turns out he actually got quite a few votes and placed 8th, and actually turned those voters to Arnold Schwarzenegger, so I guess Arnold can thank Gary Coleman for being governor of California. That's a fun fact. So, Gary Coleman said he has 4 people on this planet in his life that sees him for himself and forget that he's worked on network television. They forget I've worked in movies and that I'm an actor. As long as I have 4 people who can do that, then there's others who are capable of doing that. This quote really shows that Gary Coleman only trusts a select number of people, 4 to be exact, almost like a family. Now, I had an interview with a friend of mine, Brandon Wynn. I asked him what he thinks about Gary Coleman, and I got a short and sweet answer. He said, "What you talking about, Willis?" I took it to the heart, because even though he was joking, it still meant a lot to me. And I know it should mean a lot to everyone else as well. To conclude Gary Coleman's life, Different Strokes, he had 8 great seasons on the show. Without Different Strokes, we probably wouldn't know who Gary Coleman was. That's really the main point of success in his life. Gary Coleman really proved you can do anything, no matter who you are or what size you are, just because Gary Coleman had a rare kidney disease that stunted his growth, and he was the size of a young boy for the rest of his life. But it's mind over matter for Gary Coleman. And his childhood really had a major impact on his life because he was doing acting and television and movies. He just had so much on his plate, and it really helped him in the future with family and friends, and everyone supported him. So I'm going to end my speech today with a concluding remark. Gary Coleman said, "When Diff'rent Strokes got canceled, I was enormously thrilled and was very much looking forward to starting the rest of his life." Of course you were, Gary. Of course you were. Thank you.